I predict that if you were to stop trying, you would find that you actually allow in the very thing you intend for. If you were to even stop looking, stop seeking, stop trying to find whatever it is, you would find that that thing can naturally come in as a reflection. Even think about the quote from Yoda. Yoda said, "Do or do not. There is no try." When we infuse and say, "I am trying to do something," we infuse in energetic resistance. And when you hear people say try, what is the energy underneath that? Now, it's an energy of resistance. It's an energy of attachment to outcome. It's an energy of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's split energy. And a lot of times it comes from doubt inside of the head. Now, when you are looking at and hearing many different athletes, for example, talk about being in a flow state, when they are in a flow state, when they are in the energy of being, there's very little thinking going on. And I see this recently. I've been watching, I don't play golf, but I've been watching golf recently. I know it sounds boring, but there's this show on Netflix called Full Swing. And I was just watching these stories. It's like the stories behind, kind of like the UFC embedded of golf. And I'm seeing these people, and you can see it's 90% mental. When they get into a flow state and they're in it, it's like the ball goes in the hole so often. But when they're not in it, it's like no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, they can't get it to actually go in. Now, think about this too. Think about the things you most often hear when it comes to attracting love. This is a big realization for a lot of people. When they say, they're looking for love. They're looking for it. They're looking for it. Where is it? Where might love be? It's like there's this huge, incredible pressure on outcome. There's this pressure on someone else to meet the needs of someone. So it's like they're looking for love. They're looking for love. They're looking for love. And where is the other half to my soul? Where is the soulmate? Where are you? I'm looking for you. You're outside of me. Are you over here? Where are you? Searching, 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 looking, looking, looking. And guess what happens? That's not when it happens. That will literally, it's like blinders when you're looking for it. Especially when you're looking at it from an energy of attachment to outcome or desperation. When you're looking for it to complete you, that's when you can't see it. It is literally invisible to you. But interestingly enough, how often do you hear from people that say they are in, if there's someone that's in a relationship, they've been in a relationship a long time, very often I hear the same thing over and over again, and you probably have too. They're like, well, I wasn't looking. It just kind of happened. I was so often people are like, I'm going to commit to being single and to just focusing on my purpose, focusing on this area of my life. And then the person comes. You synchronistically are at the right place at the right time and you meet the person. Very rarely. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm sure there's stories, and I share this on YouTube, and very often people are on Instagram, and very often people are like, yeah, you're right. But then sometimes people are like, I met somebody when I was looking. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but very often the thing here's the thing too, when it comes to being curious. You can be I'm curious if this thing is out there, this reflection for me, but not like I desperately need to find someone. So looking and trying are kind of similar energies. I'm going to try to do something. Even when I looked up the definition right before doing this video, the definition of try, when I looked it up on Google, said if you describe something or someone as trying, you mean that they are difficult to deal with and make you feel impatient or annoyed. I mean, the energy of trying is literally an energy of resistance. And even the definition of it's like an attempt to do something. But think about it. It's like an attempt to do something, but you have an attempt to do something, but if it doesn't work out, you're going to give up. It's like your energy is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And think of the difference between someone that's going to figure it out, to someone that's going to be it. It's a very different energy. So in a way, what trying means is I'll try. I'm not sure it's going to happen. I'm only going to try until if I get a specific result. And if I don't get that result, then I'm going to stop trying. That's an energy of doing something that is a means to an end. Look at this. Do means to an end. You're doing something to get a specific result versus being it because it's who you are. And very often when I'm watching these shows or you're talking about thinking in high vibration. When you are thinking in high vibration, it's not that you are thinking thoughts of love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Very often it's that you are more present. So really what trying is a lack of presence, and it's a belief and doubt. And when you are more present to the moment, you are 100% there. And when you are 100% there, you're not trying, you're being. And when you see these athletes that are making the game-winning shot, they're not like, okay, I'm going to grab the basketball, I'm going to bounce it over here, I'm going to now make the game-winning shot. They're not thinking that. They're in the moment. The moment calls upon them a certain level of presence. And the people that are able to compete at that very high level have an incredible ability to get present to the moment despite the pressure. So they are 100% there. Now, the more present you become, and the more you are giving something your all, the more there'll be a different energy off of you. Now, sometimes I think too, when we think of trying or looking, we have to question what and why do I believe that I can't accomplish this? What are the beliefs about this? Like if someone is looking for the other half to their soul, basically what's happened is there's an imbalance in forces. They've made something else very important that's outside of them. And they're looking for it because they believe it. They believe someone outside of them is going to complete them. So very often what we're doing then is we're trying to manipulate reality. A lot of times manifest, manipulate, pulate. Similar root words. I think Manny means hands. Those are hands. A lot of times what people are doing is they're trying to manipulate the universe to give them what they want. Give me the other half to my soul. Give me exactly what I want to meet my needs. And of course, anytime there's a form of manipulation, there's a form of resistance that's obviously put into the equation, but also it's almost like the universe can't give you that because it's manipulative energy. It'll give you other manipulative people. I think a lot of times when people when people try to manipulate someone else, even subconsciously, into being in their life, they'll end up there's some form of other manipulation there, or it's just a resistant energy to begin with. So something very important to become aware of in this whole entire process of attracting what you want is understanding alignment. It's understanding that you want it to be natural for your current identity. And when you focus on being it because it's who you choose to be, and you focus on also enjoying the present moment, you'll find that more comes to you as a result. And often I tell people that come on coaching programs or at live events, if they stop trying and stop looking, you would start being. And as you start being, you get a different reflection in your life that reflects back that being. The times my YouTube channel has done best were the times I was trying the least. I even recognized this on Instagram recently. I've been posting daily on Instagram for probably about a month and a half now, and my Instagram has grown quite a bit since I went daily. I went from I was super critical of some of the content I'd put out on Instagram. I'd judge it, this isn't good enough to go on Instagram. And eventually what I did is I said, you know what? As I remember like a year ago, I went daily for like 2 or 3 weeks and everything went crazy. Like a lot of growth, a lot of people were coming into like, the concepts I was sharing. That was really cool. And then I stopped because I started judging my content. But then what I did is I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to daily Instagram Reels, which are just clips from YouTube videos, clips from other lives that I do on Instagram. And after, it's funny. It's always my life. If I even look at on YouTube, when I went daily on YouTube, it's like I'm making so much content. I don't have time to judge it necessarily because there has to be another video that goes out tomorrow. And then that's always when things have done well for me, is when I'm consistent. And there's even someone in FTP coaching, this program that I have, that came on, and she now has what does she have? She has 900 followers in the last month. And I said, what did you do to do that? And she goes, I just went daily. Like, see, everyone, just go daily. You start putting yourself, and she was getting better and better with every video that she made. But the reason I'm sharing this is I had 2 videos in the last week that have gone, one got 500,000 views on Instagram, another got 400,000 views. They did well. The outcome was very good. And I've been more detached from the outcome than ever, but I look at those videos and I'm like, why did those videos do so well? Well, when I made those videos, I was in a certain state. I was in a certain energy. And it was like I also recognized that like there's times when I make the very beginning of the most important thing on Instagram for the videos I make is like the very first 2 or 3 seconds. What is the energy like? If the energy is resistant and trying, it's not going to do well. If the energy is I'm in a flow state, it's a magnetic energy, much more likely to do well. Both those videos, those a couple days ago that went viral, both I was in a very high energy state and I was very much being myself. I was like showing, that was kind of inspired part of this video. In one of the videos I talk about how, when you're looking for the other half to your soulmate, it's kind of this Dr. Seuss book. It's called Are You My Mother? Are you my mother? It's like you're walking around. Are you my soulmate? Are you my soulmate? Are you my soulmate? Are you my soulmate? I'm looking. Are you the other half to my soul? Are you outside of myself? Are you outside of myself? And it was making a point that that's what a lot of people do when they're looking for love. Are you outside of me? Are you outside of me? And when you stop putting that energy of looking, you realize you can start to be and you can start to focus on other aspects of your life where you are naturally more magnetic. Now, interestingly enough, when I make those videos, I'm in that energy state. It does better because I'm not trying. I'm just being myself. And it's funny, the more I have allowed myself to be myself and the more my personality shows through, the more magnetic the energy is, or the more people watch the videos. There's this other guy on YouTube I used to watch. He's got a quirky personality. It's called Renaissance Periodization. It's like this fitness channel. Most of you won't, maybe not resonate with it, but it's like kind of hardcore fitness advice from this dude that talks about the science of like bodybuilding and stuff. But back in the day, I've been watching his videos for a few years every now and then. And back in the day, he had like a couple 100,000 subs. And recently, his channel's blown up to multiple million subscribers. But you want to know, I can see a definite correlation of the degree to which he showed his quirky, sarcastic, dry sense of humor, and he's owned it, is the degree to which he's grown. Like there's a correlation between how, like, because it's what makes him different is his personality, his sense of humor. And in a similar way, what I'm realizing about myself in my own videos is when I'm in a certain energy, those videos do very well. Like there's one video that I did when I was in LA, this live event that I did in LA, where I did this this like 30-minute segment on narcissists and empaths. And I was in a certain energy state, and literally 4 or 5 minute clips from that video that are different clips, but from that same 10, 15-minute segment. One got 4.5 million views on YouTube. One got 2.5 million views. One got 1 million views. Like they all came from that specific energy state that I was in. Because I was being myself. I was expressing things in a certain way. I was in a flow state. I wasn't even thinking very much. It was just in alignment. But the reason I share this is because I was being. I wasn't trying to get views. I was in a state where the energy of the crowd and me, I was just being. And even making this video right now, I can tell that in the beginning of this video, ironically enough, this video about trying and looking, there's a little bit more trying energy in the beginning of this video, but now you could probably feel it. You're probably kind of settled in with what I'm talking about because I'm not trying. I'm in an energy of being. And when I look to these videos even on YouTube, the videos where I'm most passionate and the most expressive, there are times when I'm making these videos where I just don't want the video to end because I feel so expressive with what I'm sharing. And in a similar way, I believe that the goal then is not that I make videos that get a specific result, that get millions of views. The goal is I want to make content where I'm in a high vibrational state, that I love talking about these things, and I'm showing my personality because I'm being myself. So when I look to these couple Instagram videos that I've done very well recently, and I'm showing more of my personality. Kind of got like a quirky flow state personality thing going on. Now, I wasn't trying, I was just being. But what if I got more in that state more often? So instead of asking, how do I get the result? How do I try and look for the result? How do I get into that state? How do I get into a flow state? How do I observe my thoughts more? And you want to talk about thinking less thoughts to feel higher vibration? Observe the survival mode. Because a lot of times when we're trying to get out of survival. We're trying to get somewhere else that we believe is going to be better than where we are right now. Instead of observing the thoughts, that neutralizes negative emotion. And then being it, making a choice to be present to the moment of you're doing it and being it because it's who you choose to be. So somebody that's creating art because they're an artist and they love creating art is a different energy than creating art to own the art gallery studio. And you see this all the time, by the way. I know I was talking about golf earlier. You want to know what happens in golf? It's a similar thing that happens in YouTube. What happens is when you first get on YouTube, you're just excited to freaking be here. I want to share all these ideas with the world. I want to help people by sharing these ideas that have helped me. And I'm just in a flow state making these videos. Quit my 9-to-5 job. I've got all this time now and all this freedom. And I'm just in this passionate state. But then growth starts to happen. Views start to come in. Wow. Outcome focused. I got to keep the momentum going. How do I keep the momentum going? Every video has got to be a banger. Pressure so that videos become better and better. And then this thing that was just a flow state thing, that was just this pure intention to add value, becomes this thing like, I need it to manipulate. I need to manipulate my YouTube channel to give me what I want. So that I can feel good enough. So I can feel like I haven't fallen off. Do you see the difference in energy there? In golf, it happens because what happens is these people love playing golf. They love playing golf. They start winning. But then what happens is they get these huge sponsorships. I mean, they may get like 10, 20, 30, $50 million from a company to sponsor something. Now they have pressure. You need to play good because you're being sponsored. Now they have all and then they have all these media things where they have to do all this media stuff and they have to present these different brands. And now they're not just playing golf. They're literally like walking billboards. They're doing modeling. A lot of these guys aren't natural, they didn't grow up as models. They grew up playing golf. So their energy gets dispersed, distracted from being. It's harder for them to be. Some of the greats, they can do it all because they can turn on the switch to being. But do you see how that creates pressure? So one of the things I'll say too, I thought was interesting when it comes to importance. I'm not a big golf guy, honestly, but I'm using this as an analogy. There was this thing that happened in golf where there was the PGA Tours and there was this thing called Live Golf. Live Golf, and it's still around. It's this other company that wanted to bring all these really top players from PGA over to Live, and they offered them buttloads of money, $50 million, $100 million. And what happens is there was this energy of people leaving PGA to go to Live. It's like if they left PGA, they'd feel like they're doing something wrong. They'd be shamed by other people at PGA because it wasn't pure to go over to Live. But when they went over to Live, they got literally so much money that a lot of them were happy because many generations of their kids were going to be taken care of, like kids. And everyone else that stayed with PGA was mad because they sold out and went for the money. Well, guess what happened? When they went over to Live, they made so much money, had so much abundance that the importance was taken out of the pressure. Because I don't think it was contingent, like you have to play extremely well to continue, maybe to continue to get more money. But in general, it was like a lot of pressure was taken off of them. And then what happened is many of them still played amazing. And then certain people were angry and kind of jealous that they did that because they sold out for the money. But what actually happened recently, from what I understand, is PGA and LIV actually teamed up. So now all the PGA people are even more mad because not only do these people leave and get all this money, but they're actually able to come back and play in the PGA again and compete. And the PGA people that didn't do that are, kind of they're kind of angry about the whole situation. But one of the energy things I think that really helped for the players is, when you talk about golf, that's like you talk about balanced forces. That is an energy of an incredible amount of pressure. And if you can decrease importance and just play to play, you'll notice that you get a different result. So anyways, it's enough of the golf talk for today. I'm not even a golfer. I golfed one time when I went to Lake Tahoe with friends 10 years ago. Maybe I'll play again I'll try it again sometime just for fun. Recently, I've been enjoying surfing. Surfing is also balanced forces. It's also about being in balance and enjoying the process and being present to the moment, not trying to manipulate the waves to give you what you want. Won't work out real well. I do have a course, by the way, a $1,000 course for free called High Vibe 101. I added a frame technique section in there recently. It's a $1,000 course for free in my High Vibe tribe. If you want to check it out, I'll go ahead and link it below. There's also breathwork in there, a whole breathwork ceremony that you can go through that'll help you to release the energy that's stored in the body, to elevate your vibration so that you can get clear and finally start to be. And if you've never heard of what is called the backwards law, it's one of the most powerful concepts I've ever learned about. It has to do with thinking in reverse and how the less you try, the more you are. I have a video that came out recently on this that show you step by step exactly what to do. It's one of my most popular and powerful new videos. You can check it out right here. Have you ever noticed that the more you chase anything, the more you affirm